When a major cryptocurrency starts to stockpile gold like a central bank, people pay attention. But there is a catch, I think, and we're going to find out what that is in this video as we explore. A major cryptocurrency is making a major move with gold, and I think that's one of the things that is keeping gold's price up. And also stable. Stable being the key word here because it is a stable coin that I'm talking about here. Now, I think the most stable of all assets is gold. We're seeing that with the price move, and Summit Metals, well, they have gold. In fact, their logo is quite golden. And, you know, we've seen gold's price rise dramatically over the past 2 years. Actually, since 2022, it has elevated your wealth by holding gold. And Summit Metals can help you procure your own gold. Check them out by clicking on the link in the description below and experience their great customer service for yourself. Now, this stable coin is called Tether. Now, I've heard and seen many people talk about it on this channel in the comments section, and others really believe in it, others not so much. We're going to talk a little bit about what that is. Well, Tether is referred to as USDT. It's a cryptocurrency stablecoin launched by Tether Limited Incorporated back in 2014. It's pegged to the United States dollar and is distinct from a central bank digital currency. As of the 1st of August 2024, Tether reported having $118.4 billion in reserves, including a $5.3 billion in excess reserves. Now, I don't know if the government is involved with it or not, but apparently it is a company because it's Tether Limited Incorporated. But you know, it's tied directly to the dollar, and many people feel that a lot of these cryptocurrencies essentially are, in a way, a sort of a psyop operation. In other words, the government is controlling all of it, or is in there. But you know, another description is it's a type of crypto called a stable coin whose value is pegged to the U.S. dollar, aiming to maintain a stable 1-to-1 ratio with the dollar. It is used in the cryptocurrency market to provide a stable asset that is less volatile than other cryptos, allowing traders to hold value and conduct transactions on the blockchain without the price fluctuations of coins like Bitcoin or Ethereum. Every bit of Tether is intended to be backed by a corresponding amount of assets such as cash and cash equivalents. Equivalents being the key word here as to why this big move is occurring. I'm going to be referencing a piece here from TradingView that goes into what's going on with the latest news about what Tether is doing. The stablecoin issuer Tether is deepening its exposure to physical gold as global monetary dynamics change. The company reportedly brought in 2 senior HSBC traders, Vincent Domian and Matthew O'Neill, to oversee its gold operations. That's right, they're going to be getting this lovely yellow metal right here, actually golden metal. In fact, you really shouldn't call it the yellow metal. In fact, just as you shouldn't call silver the white metal or gray metal. They are their own color. It is unique to yellow, which is pretty intriguing. It does have a yellowish hue to it, but nonetheless, gold is gold, and it's very difficult to recreate. But nonetheless, these 2 traders have decades of experience in metals trading and are expected to help Tether scale its bullion holdings. This move allows reports that Tether has already stockpiled billions in physical gold. The company is showing a strong preference for hard assets over fiat-based instruments. And when we know that, according to some reports, Tether owns over 100 tons of physical gold and has been accumulating dramatically since the second quarter of 2024. This timing coincides with record central bank purchases of gold and rising global demand for non-dollar reserves. While central banks diversify away from the U.S. dollar, Tether appears to be following a similar path in the private sector. And I'm also doing the same thing. I'll show you the latest piece of gold I got as well here in a moment. The company's shift suggests it views gold as a strategic hedge both against fiat volatility and regulatory pressure. Unlike Circle's USDC, which primarily holds short-term U.S. Treasuries, Tether's bullion reserves signal a break from dollar dependency. So they're branching out, it sounds like, into something more stable. And, well, the more stable you can get than the dollar, and especially considering inflation, is indeed gold. And for sure. And this divergence highlights a broader divide in stablecoin reserve philosophy. Yield generation versus long-term security trading view continues here. Tether's bullion buildup could alter the perception of stablecoins from digital cash to privately managed reserve assets, they go on to say. And I haven't gotten into the catch yet. Stay tuned for that. In effect, Tether is acting less like a payment processor and more like a sovereign wealth fund. Does that sound familiar? You heard Secretary Bessent talk about sovereign wealth fund, and Trump as well too. We've not heard much about it since then. In fact, the latest stuff with the tariff revenues is lower and middle income families are going to be getting back a $2,000 check. So what about the sovereign wealth fund? Is that going to be built up? I don't know, but nonetheless, this sounds like a one process, a way to make that happen. And could this be, if there is government intervention? I'm just spitballing on that completely. I don't even know how many people have made that connection with Tether and the U.S. government, but this may be the way of getting some gold on the back end if there is involvement with the U.S. government in this. But again, I have no idea, but I think there are people who are criticizing cryptos in general for that, and certainly if you're tying straight to the dollar, it makes you wonder if this, even though the one piece says that it's not central bank digital currency, with a Fed now in effect, it very well could be the foundation and a bridge to a central bank digital currency, which would be bad news all around, no question about that. Now, central banks have purchased more than 1,000 tons of gold in 2024, which is the second highest annual total on record. And likely we may get very close to that this year. Much of that buying came from emerging economies seeking insulation from dollar-linked volatility. Tether's accumulation of gold mirrors this pattern. Tether's bullion operations also introduced new logistical and security challenges. Managing physical assets with a tokenized framework demands strict custody, audit, and cyber resilience measures. Indeed, it does. But the problem with Tether is the controversy surrounding it, and is pretty interesting. Tether's goal is to be fully backed, but the company has faced questions and scrutiny over the composition of its reserves and has been fined by regulators for misrepresenting its reserves in the past. So there's where the controversy is with Tether. And so, they may make this bold move with gold, but, maybe they need a gold audit as well, like most central banks do of their gold holdings, or for us, in our case, the Treasury's holdings of the gold. But nonetheless, with HSBC veterans now on board, the company appears focused on building that institutional backbone, but transparency remains a concern. Critics argue that without frequent independent audits or full reserve disclosure, Tether's gold strategy could face the same scrutiny that long surrounded its stablecoin reserves. Overall, the move hints at a coming era where private entities hold diversified multi-asset reserves rivaling national central banks. And I'm telling you, the only kind of digital kind of money out there, which is digital gold and silver, that I know is Kinesis, that actually does do monthly audits that are very transparent. You can look them up for yourself. But nonetheless, physical gold in your hand is paramount and so important, folks. There's no question about that. Now, let me show you the piece of gold that I did receive. I got recently, had it quite a while saving up for it. I got it sort of on the dip. Got another one of these 5/9 pure gold maple leafs here. Beautiful indeed. Really like these coins because they have that pattern in the background, which is kind of a security measure. You can get them for regular bullion price, and it's the purest commercially available gold in the world. 5/9 fine. And there it is. This is from 2012. Probably my favorite design of the first series of 5/9s of the maple leaf that were first started in 2007. That created that big maple leaf. That was a foundation for it. I have those as well too, but this just really sparkles. I really like the way this thing looks with the purest gold commercially available. So there you have it. I like the kind of the faceted rim there as well too. That's pretty cool. Pretty wild a way to make that thing work and to add to the collection there. So there you have it. Let me know what your thoughts are about this story in the comments section down below. Hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.